To everything Arsenal, and welcome to the match reaction for a forgetful night. Arsenal nil, PSV 2, or PSV 2, Arsenal nil. And it has been coming. Let's be honest, it has been coming. The last four games we haven't played well against Bodo Glimt away from home, against Leeds away from home, against Southampton away from home in that second half. We haven't been playing well. We've managed a couple of like 3-1 nil wins. So this result has been coming, definitely. Remember what I said in the match build-up? I would take a draw 100% from here, from PSV. I would take a draw. And that is why, because that game, let's be honest, they actually scored. Forget about they would have scored. They scored like 6 goals today, and like 4 of them got disallowed. So that was a brutal day. We are lucky it wasn't 5-0 or 6-0 or something more embarrassing. That was a tough away day, a very, very tough away day, a night to forget. So we are lucky we actually beat them at home last week when it was 0-0 in the 70th minute. I actually tweeted last week and said we actually do need to beat PSV right now. We really need to beat them at home because when we go to their place next week, it is not going to be easy. There's a reason these guys have scored like more than 50 goals this season, and you saw it. Funny enough, if you check the stats from today, if you only follow stats, Arsenal dominated that game in terms of possession, in terms of shots, in terms of corners. We had more in terms of everything. But in terms of just being clinical and just putting the other team under pressure, they gave us a tough time. They scored like 6 goals today. We were lucky that most of them were disallowed, some that I didn't even expect to be disallowed. So it was a pretty tough day, but it has been coming. As I said, it's the last couple of games have not been great. Everyone has their own theory why. Some of you would say it's because players are tired, but we rested some of those players today. Some say it was because the squad is not enough, the second team is not good enough. Everyone has their own theory. I do agree with some of that. I mean, you ideally want to bring someone in better than Holding. You want to bring on someone better than Lokonga. I still don't think Lokonga is a defensive midfielder. I don't think he should be playing as a defensive midfielder, but what do you do? Because we literally don't have any other options unless he plays Ben White as a defensive midfield. But I don't like Lokonga as a sole defensive midfielder. I do not like it because the 2 games that we've lost this season, Man United and PSV, Partey has not been on the pitch. Lokonga has been the one starting in midfield, for example. And it's not Lokonga's fault that we lost today, but if you put everything together, he's part of that problem as well in terms of I don't think you can depend on him in that midfield. But the defense today as well, absolutely terrible. Holding Saliba, that goal that was disallowed, the way he just went past them, Xavi Simons, absolutely a day to forget. So we are lucky that we did beat them last week, and we are very lucky that we beat Bodo Glimt away from home because it would have been tougher. When PSV go to Bodo Glimt next week, I don't expect them to win because we had it tough as well over there. But we still need to beat Zurich next week at home. We've made it tougher. We've had to go to the final day. Ideally, we'd have wanted a draw today and get the job done, and whatever happens next week happens. But now next week we have to go. We have to beat Zurich at home. They've lost basically almost every single game this season in the Europa League, Zurich, but it makes things harder. We have to win next week and still going to finish top of the group. But obviously, there's a lot of things to pick up from this game. Lokonga is one of them. Some of you, like, I always pray that Nketiah doesn't miss chances and scores because I know every time it does something bad. I was not Nketiah's biggest supporter at all, but I know there's some that are worse than me. There's some that really do not like Nketiah at all. And I know every time like he misses a chance or does something silly, I know the pressure will be on him. And I always hope that he scores a goal so that the pressure doesn't he doesn't feel that pressure. But yeah, again today, quite poor again. And the players who are given a chance today, like Holding again, a bit poor once again. Defense, I'm not going to shy away from criticizing the likes of Saliba. I think in the last 4 games, they had like 3 forgetful games. Saliba, Tomiyasu's Southampton second half, and today a bit poor. So everyone definitely has to be judged. They haven't been great at all. But that result was coming. 2-0 against PSV. It was definitely coming. We haven't played well against Leeds United second half. We were terrible. Southampton second half. They could have had a second goal in that game. Bodo Glimt away from home. That was the game. Bodo Glimt away from home. We were lucky to get a win in that game. Bodo Glimt missed like 10 open chances. And today, the most worrying thing, although I've just said Arsenal created more chances than PSV today, we had 16 shots. They had 8, but the game could have been 5-0. Fun enough. If you forget about that, we definitely did not deserve from that. You don't deserve to get anything from this game, but it is a massive worry that we let them score like 5 goals today, like open chances, good chances. Like we gave them like 10 good chances today, which is a massive worry. But that stems from midfield non-existent, Saliba holding combination poor. Again, Tierney, Tomiyasu, we need to talk about them as well. But yeah, we'll come to the player ratings. As usual, let's talk about the match reaction and the team, how we lined up today. And let me know, what do you make of this game? What frustrated you most today? Is it the missed chances that we created a couple of them? Was it how open we are in defense? Which player frustrated you most today? And yeah, let me know in the comment section as we go through the match reaction. This was our lineup today. We had Ramsdale in goal, surprisingly. He made a mistake as well today. And I know the rival fans will be on to him. Ramsdale, #1 England goalkeeper. No way. He made a mistake from that corner. And yeah, that is another downer from today. We conceded from a corner. We never concede from corners these days. So whenever I see a corner going, as we conceding a corner, yeah, there's definitely something wrong that day. We had Tierney at left back, Tomiyasu, Saliba, and Holding. I mean, looking at that defense is not that bad. The goalkeeper and the defense, any other day, Tierney, Saliba, Tomiyasu, and then Holding as a second team player, and then Ramsdale. That is not the worst of defenses. Like we've seen worst defenders in our time as Arsenal supporters. And then midfield, we had Lokonga, Xhaka, and Odegaard. To be honest, again, I didn't really have a problem with that midfield. Xhaka, Odegaard, Lokonga. Xhaka usually plays every game. Odegaard in terms of creativity, and Lokonga because he can't really play part every single day. I wasn't really concerned about that. Maybe the only other thing you could say is play Ben White instead of Lokonga, but that is basically an experiment because Ben White has never played for us as a defensive midfielder. And then Martinelli on the left, Fabio Vieira on the right. I think he did well a few times. And then Ketty up front. And then on the bench, KJ Hein, Gabriel White, Cedric Partey, Jesus, Saka, Nelson, Sargent, Smith, and Ibrahim. So after I did that much build-up, I went to read some comments, and I saw actually some Arsenal fans complaining that Arteta should not have gone for this, the first team players. Like people didn't want Martinelli to start. They wanted Nelson to start instead. People didn't want Odegaard to start. They wanted maybe one of the youngsters to start. Most people didn't want Tomiyasu or Tierney to start. They wanted Cedric to start. And I was like, there's no way. This is a good team. If you rotate the entire team against PSV, you would have conceded 8 goals today. Listen, we played some of the first team players when you still conceded 5 goals today. 2 of them counted. But against PSV away from home, you cannot go there and rotate the entire team. You're going to get embarrassed. That is a very good team. That is a Champions League team, basically, that is playing in the Europa League. I feel like they're usually unlucky playing in the Europa League. They should be a Champions League team. That's good. They have very good players, as you saw today. Gakpo, Simons, even De Jong from the bench. All these players are pretty good. So you can't really go there and rotate the entire team. As well, I saw some other people saying Arsenal 4-0, 5-0. Not possible away to PSV. So personally, myself, I would even have gone more stronger.Maybe I would have started Fabio Vieira in midfield. Saka, I didn't have Saka in the starting lineup, but I wouldn't even have minded Jesus starting. But that's of now. Like some people will still say, why did this one start? Why did that one not start? Or this one and that one? Some said why Nketiah started, but Nketiah is the Europa League striker that we have, so he's going to feature in every Europa League game. You can't really play Gabriel Jesus every single day because the other day when he played Southampton, Jesus looked very tired. Saka looked very tired. Gabriel looked very tired. Odegaard looked very tired. So you can't really start all of them again. Another question I saw is which game was more important, PSV today or Nottingham Forest over the weekend? I'm saying both of them because today we've lost, and you lose today, you put yourself under pressure because now we have to go next week and win the game. If you get the draw today, Nottingham Forest, I believe, Nottingham Forest at home is easier than PSV away from home, I believe. So I would have taken both games seriously. I feel like Arteta took it seriously because he started Martinelli, he started Tierney, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Odegaard, Xhaka. So no underestimating PSV, but some of you would have rotated more, which I don't agree with. But yeah, that was the lineup. Looking at that lineup, I feel like it was good enough to at least get a goal today. It was good enough at least not to concede 10 good chances from PSV today. And I'm pretty sure that is the first time we've not scored a goal this season, right? I think every other game we've scored a goal. We scored against Man United. So I think every single game we scored a goal this season, apart from this one. So this is the first time we finished a game without scoring a goal. So that is also a concern. If you add to the fact that last game, Southampton 1-1. Before that, we beat Leeds 1-0. Before that, we beat Glimt 1-0. Before that, we beat PSV again 1-0. So we've not managed to score many goals recently. And the problem is, it's not that we're not creating chances. Like today, we had 16 shots. Against Leeds the other day, I think we had like 15 shots. So we're actually creating the chances. Southampton over the weekend, we created chances. Jesus missed. I think Saka had a couple over the bar. So we are creating chances, but you're not taking them. Now, again, it is up to you to create your own theory. I've seen some comments saying Nketiah is not good enough to be Arsenal striker, number 14, all that. I knew that was definitely going to come this season anytime he misses chances. Some of you are saying Saka's played too much. Maybe you should do some rotation. I've even seen comments saying that is why we shouldn't have sold Pepe or let him go on loan. Some of you have brought back Pepe into the conversation, why Pepe was taken out on loan. I don't think that is relevant as of now. I don't feel like Pepe would have helped us in a game like today. But yeah, everyone has their own theory of why you're not scoring enough goals recently. We are missing chances. That is the truth. We are missing chances. And it's not just one player. Nketiah missed a good chance today. Jesus missed like 3 the other day. Saka's taken like 3-4 shots off target, like open chances right like outside the box against Southampton and against Leeds. Odegaard has missed a couple of chances the last 2 games as well. Fabio has not been that great. Nelson, when he played, hasn't been that great. Some of you have even started giving up on Jesus because he's missed a couple of chances. So literally up to you in terms of what theory you want to take. But yes, we have been missing a lot of chances and we are not scoring enough. So within the first 8 minutes of that game, we had been warned. Ramsdale made a very good save in the first 8 minutes. It could have been 1-0 to PSV very early on. Now, it was literally different tactics from PSV. When they came to our place last week, they came to defend because they only had 1 shot on target last week. And we are the ones who had like 29 shots last week against PSV. This time, it was roles reversed because they were that second half. Did we even get the ball that second half? They had like 30 chances, like good chances, good openings. They were offside a million times, but they were creating so many chances from the wings, especially. So today, at their place, they created chances. So some people usually say home, away doesn't matter. But how do you explain that? Because PSV came to our place last week and parked the bus and had 1 shot on target. This time out, they were attacking us attack after attack after attack. Like they would have had 7 goals today. We were lucky that PSV didn't score like 7 goals today. So we are pretty lucky in terms of that. 18th minute came the first goal from PSV. Cody Gakpo chipping Ramsdale, one-on-one chance. It didn't beat the offside trap because that goal was disallowed, but that was another warning. 18 minutes, Cody Gakpo 1-0 to PSV. We were lucky that it was offside, but it was a warning. And then after that, it was a bit of fouling here and there, a couple of missed chances from Arsenal. PSV creating a couple of chances. They were offside numerous times today, but they were trying to beat that offside trap, and they did beat it like a couple of times. And then Xavi Simons scored as well. And that was absolute terrible defending. The way Xavi Simons went past like 5 players, it was Tierney, Saliba, Holding. I don't even remember the others. Like he went past like 5 players. I had counted it. I was like, oh no, here we go. Because people will start saying Saliba, look at how easily Saliba was passed there. Look at how easily Holding was passed. And we were actually lucky that VAR disallowed that goal. I did not see it, to be fair. I did not see El Ghazi being offside before that. But yes, it was offside. It was correctly disallowed. But PSV scored 2 goals in that first half. And they were offside like 4 times. So they gave us a lot of warnings in that first half. To be fair to Arsenal, we actually did have more chances than them in that first half, funny enough. Looking at that game, PSV should have beat us like 7-0. But looking at that first half, in terms of possession shots, we had 8 shots in that first half. PSV had 2. So that is just incredible. 67% in terms of possession for us, 33% in terms of them. So if you watch the game yourself and you follow the stats, it's 2 totally different things. Because if you've watched that game, PSV should have won that game 5-0. But if you didn't watch the game and you just read the stats, you'll be like, oh my goodness, Arsenal dominated this game the entire match and PSV won it 2-0 because we had everything was more than them. Corners, chances, shots on target, shots off off target. That first half, we had 2 shots on target. They only had 1. We had 3 shots off target. They only had 1. They blocked 3 of our shots. We didn't block any of their shots in that first half. We had 3 corner kicks. They were caught offside 3 times. We actually had 1 big chance that we missed. They didn't have any big chances in the first half, apart from the ones that were offside that are not counted here. We also had 6 shots inside their box. They had 0 inside our box in that first half. So looking at those stats, we were the ones who were supposed to at least get a goal in that first half. We doubled the amount of passes they had. We doubled the amount of crosses they had. They completed more dribbles, but they made more tackles, more interceptions, more clearances. So from the first half stats, Arsenal were the better team, but they're the ones who scored the goals that were disallowed. So they were more clinical than us. They took their chances, but luckily we were still in the game. Both chances got disallowed. This was one of them. Xavi Simons looked like he wanted to cry, funny enough, but yeah, what a game for him. He gave us a warning when he came to the Emirates last week, but what a player. And he's like 18 or 19, something crazy like that. He's a pretty good player, but yeah, we were saved there. Halftime 0-0. I was hoping that we'd come back in the second half, pick up our game for even 10 minutes, just try and get a goal, get a 1-0 lead, and then you can try and defend from there and try and get a draw from that. Because either way, there's a lot that was not on our side today. We were away from home. Obviously, we rotated a few players. I don't think those are good excuses either way, but yeah, they were the better team today. And yes, some people would say we were tired again. I don't think it's only us. I think every team plays midweek and over the weekend. I actually don't really feel like playing on Thursday and Sunday is a massive problem, because teams play on Wednesday and Saturday either way. I get it because of the traveling and all that, but PSV away and then next home game is Nottingham Forest. That is perfect. And then next week you have a home game against Zurich, and then after that Chelsea away. I think that is perfect as well. I don't think that should really affect us. But some of you say it did. Second half, it did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out. Within the first 4 minutes, they had attacked us once again. They had a chance. I think Ramsdale saved it. And then Cody Gakpo had a miss from the left side. Should have been a goal as well. They had given us so many warnings. Between the 45th minute and the 60th minute, they created like 10 good opportunities. We were lucky that that game was still 0-0. And Arteta, fair enough, Arteta was about to make a couple of subs, or 1 sub. Partey was about to come on before he considered that goal. So he had seen the problems. The midfield was non-existent, first of all. So he was going to bring on Partey, but unfortunately, it was 30 seconds too late, because right before Partey came on, PSV created another chance. I think it was from a throw-in or something like that. And that was the same kind of goal we considered last season against Newcastle away from home, from a throw-in where they throw the ball and then they open you up from the right side to the left side, and your players are all over the place, because that is exactly what they did today. And they created that chance, and 1-0 to Arsenal. Rob Holding was turned way too easily. The way that striker turned Holding way too easily, man. That is way too easy, and that is the problem. I don't have a problem with Holding playing in the Europa League and the Carabao Cup, but when you watch games like this, you start asking yourselves questions. What happens if Saliba gets injured? What happens if Gabriel gets suspended? You're going to have to play Holding in a game. That is a problem, because the players that play first in this competition, I would not trust them that much in the Premier League, to be honest. You know the players I'm talking about. We know that Lokonga coming on for Partey, the drop in levels is way too high. Holding coming on for Saliba and Gabriel, the drop in levels is way too high. And Nketiah coming on for Jesus, the drop in levels is way too high as well. Marquinhos coming on for Saka, although he was not there today, the drop in level again way too high. So yeah, there's a few problems there. That is why I was really hoping we can get to the World Cup still top of the table and qualified in the Europa League. There's still a possibility of that. But January transfer window, we have to sign at least 3 players. We have to, because considering it would have helped. It would have helped if El Neni wasn't injured, or if Smith Rowe wasn't injured. It would have helped to have those players in the team. But since they are out and both of them are injured, we definitely need to add to the team. We definitely need a midfielder. We definitely need a striker in January. And which other position? I don't know. Let me know which other position would you get in January. But you definitely need some freshness in the team, because things will get harder. We've done so well so far this season. No one expected Arsenal to be top of the Europa League group, maybe, but top of the league, doing well. This is our second defeat of the season. No one expected Arsenal to have done that well this season. So as you can see right now, players are getting tired. Unfortunately, players like Saliba are starting to make mistakes here and there. Gabriel is making mistakes here and there. Jesus is missing a couple of chances. So when that happens, ideally, there's no problem with these players making mistakes and missing chances. Even if you go to Man City, Laporte will make a couple of mistakes. Even Van Dijk at Liverpool has made a couple of mistakes this season. But the thing you need in your team is to take away a bit of pressure. Like Jesus is not scoring goals for 2-3 games. Fine. Jesus, you know what? I'm not dropping you, but relax for this game. We have another big striker coming on from the bench for this game. Or if Partey doesn't play well, you're like, no, Partey, sit on the bench for this one. We have another player on the bench who can come on. The problem is you can't really do that. You can't even really take out Jesus from this team. Even if he has 10 bad games, isn't Nketiah on the same level as Jesus? I don't think so. Like, it's not only the goal scoring. Maybe you can say if they both get 10 chances, they would score 7 of them. Maybe you can say that. But in terms of everything else, like the dribbling, like the way Jesus creates chances in the game, you can't really take him out. And Partey the other day against Southampton, gave away the ball like 6 times. But you can't really take him out of the next Premier League game because who do you bring on? You can't really trust Lokonga to do the same job. So we definitely need players in January. That's 100% we need players in January. Players getting tired like Saka. Who do you have on the bench to come on for players like Saka? But yeah, that was PSV 1-0 in the 55th minute. And then Atita made a couple of subs. Partey and Saka came on for Lokonga and Odegaard. And right after that, they created yet another chance and missed it. They also got a couple of corners right after that. And 5 minutes later, it was 2-0. This time round, it was a mistake from Ramsdale. In case you didn't see it, Ramsdale, it was a corner. Ramsdale came to clear the ball, as you can see, to punch it, and he totally missed it. He literally missed it, and it fell on the head of De Jong, and it was 2-0. So that was definitely Ramsdale's mistake. Should have punched that one. But yeah, he let it pass and it went to De Jong's head, and there was no one in goal. These days, people don't put players in goal when the opposition has a corner. It's not doesn't happen these days. But if we had someone on the line, probably would have been cleared. But 2-0 to PSV. At this time, I thought it was game over for sure. We rather even just take off players and just wait for Nottingham Forest and Zurich next week. That one was completely over. I was just hoping it doesn't get to more than 2-0, because even after that, they created like 5-6 other good chances that they even scored a goal, right? They even scored a goal in the second half that was disallowed. So they were peppering us that second half, absolutely peppering us. Like, could have been 6 or 7. We were pretty lucky that it was only 2-0. But that is definitely a game to forget. Right after that, Jesus also came on for holding. I think Xhaka went as part of the back four, something like that. And Gakpo scored. It was offside in the 65th minute. That's the one. And then Ben White and Gabriel came on for Tierney and Tomiyasu. In the last 20 minutes, I don't even know what formation we were playing, because Gabriel, White, and Saliba on the pitch, but we didn't have any other defenders on the pitch. Xhaka was further forward, so I don't even know who was playing at left back, maybe Martinelli or something. But yeah, that is how the game went. And then Nketiah missed a very good chance right after that. It was a Xhaka shot. It fell to Nketiah. I mean, he got to it. At least he got to it and shot the ball. But from that, because that is the one thing I love about Nketiah, in the box. In the box is a fox in the box. Like, if he gets a chance there, he's very quick and he can score. But today, he shot it basically directly to the goalkeeper, a bit more quicker, left side of the goalkeeper, right side of the goalkeeper. It's 2-1 with 15 minutes remaining, and we have a chance to get something from a game that we didn't really deserve anything from. So 2-0 to PSV. I say didn't deserve anything from, but if you take a look at the stats, Tierney was booked as well today. Xhaka was booked as well. Xhaka got a yellow card today, which means he will be suspended for next week as well. So there's no Xhaka next week against Zurich. I think you can still do the job against Zurich, but yes, he's out for next week. The first time Xhaka has been suspended this season, he's done well to reach October. We are not used to him getting yellow cards these days that much, but yes, Xhaka got a yellow card, suspended for next week, so he's not going to be there. We are going to have to do the job without Xhaka. Next up, Tierney got a yellow card as well. Not ideal, not the best of days in terms of missing chances, giving away too many chances, discipline. Xhaka was fighting Simons, trying to get him off the pitch. So he did miss like five good chances. Not good chances, but good shots that if we would have done better, would have scored from Odegaard in the first half and get in the second half. But even with that said, I think PSV definitely deserved to win that game. They scored goals. goals, and they were unlucky that they were offside goals, but pretty good goals that should have been unfairly. It wasn't unfairly. I'm confusing myself. No, the goals were offside, correctly disallowed. But in their case, those goals were very well scored. So it was pretty unlucky that they were disallowed, because they would have been pretty good goals. Now, if we take a look at the stats today, Arsenal had 15 shots. PSV had 8. So we had more shots than them, funny enough. Shots on target, they had 5, we had 3. So they were definitely more clinical than us. We had 6 shots off target, they had 3. There are 6 blocked shots. So they blocked 6 of our shots. We didn't block any of their shots. So defenders pretty much non-existent. They were offside 7 times. Today we were offside 0 times. 3 corner kicks for them, 6 corner kicks for us, 14 fouls for them, 9 fouls for us. We picked up 4 yellow cards. They had 2. We both had 2 big chances, but we missed both our big chances, and they missed only 1. They scored from the other. We had 11 shots from inside their box. They only had 6 inside our box. So as you can see, in terms of shots, we had way more than them. Passes as well. PSV had 200 passes. Arsenal had 600. That is crazy. Like, we were keeping the possession, yes, but whenever they got the chance to get the ball, they were on to us. So I don't know if that was part of the tactics, because we were just looking for a draw. Because if you're basically looking for a draw, we were looking for a draw today. That is all we needed. I expected it to be really tough. So I actually said I would take a draw today, because I expected it to be very tough. I didn't think it was going to be this tough, but this is a team that has scored more than 50 goals in this season. So they're definitely not a crap team. They know what they're doing, especially up front. With all that, we still dominated possession and all that. If we are going for a draw, rather than just go for a back 5, but that is not our style. I think that the team that we had today was good enough to get a point from that game. But when you have a game like that, when you start seeing Tierney losing the ball more than 10 times, when you start seeing Saliba making mistakes, when Ramsdale starts making mistakes, it's not your day. You definitely know that is not a good day when all those players start making mistakes. Not done with the stats. We lost possession more times than them. We won more duels than them. They won more aerial duels than us. In terms of tackles, they had to make more. They made more clearances. They made more interceptions, which means we got into their box a lot of times for them to make all these clearances and interceptions. So it was crazy. It was basically crazy. It wasn't a good best of days, a day to forget. That is our second defeat this season. That is the first defeat we've suffered this season in the Europa League. That is the first time we finished a game without scoring this season. So that is a negative. Positives from today. Man, were there any positives? Fabio Vera playing on the right side. He was okay. He wasn't that bad on the right side. I don't think there's anything else I can say a positive from today, really. I don't think there was any other positives from today. Yes, we created more than 10 shots. Yes, but we missed them. So it's more of a negative than a positive. So not the best of days. It's not the end of the world, but definitely this defeat has been coming. I actually don't mind. I'm sad that Arsenal lost, but I think since it was coming, I think we kind of needed to lose somewhere because we were getting a bit too ahead of ourselves. I think this kind of defeat will wake up everyone, because most of our players have not been good the last 3 games. And obviously, I hope they get the message that we definitely need players in the January transfer window, because the players coming from the bench, I don't think it's good enough at all. I know if the likes of Smith Rowe are fit, and definitely missing Zinchenko and players like that, it would have been way better if we had those players. But yeah, what happens if they get injuries? Injuries happen. So Zinchenko is out, Smith Rowe is out, Elneny is out. What happens? Will Partey stay fit the whole season? Will Saliba stay fit the whole season? That is the problem. And the players coming from the bench, can you really trust them? I don't think so. So either way, we lost 2-0. We need to move. We need to move ahead from this as quickly as possible. So that happens. Lee, if you've been watching the channel, I usually do the match reaction first and then read the comments and then go to the player ratings. Let's see the comments. Tactical says second team isn't good enough. Just get a result next week and move on. This is where our lack of squad depth hurts us. Yes, I do agree with that, the players who are coming on, but then again, we had a couple of first team players, especially defensively. Saliba, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Ramsdale, I expected better. So, but I do agree. The players coming from the bench not great enough. Paul says we were piss poor. Joseph says we deserve to lose. We never turned up tonight. That is true. But again, if you read the stats, if you're a stats person, we created way more than them, so that is fun enough though. Lee says, look, it's our second game lost. Let's move forward. Okay, yes, it's only our second defeat of the season. We expected to be to have had like 3 or 4 defeats by now, but the man of defeat, like, they should have had like 7 goals. So you have to look at where the negatives were. You definitely have to look at where the negatives are. Let's move on. I want us to work on the Premier League. We need to focus on that. Achan is not happy. Ole says these results are not pleasing to us Gunners, but you should not worry. Let's keep focusing. I'm not going to worry a lot, but definitely there's a couple of negatives to take from the game. It's not okay with says Ismail. January, we need players to bring on where we believe the manager don't believe in the same players. Don't you mean the manager don't believe in the same players? Wait, the players bring on where? Not sure what you meant. Life is where you can't win all the time. That is true. There's also that you can't win all the time. So don't follow what the rivals are saying. The rivals are pretty happy that Arsenal has lost today because they're used to Arsenal winning these days. But you cannot win every single game. We've won a lot of games this season, some that we didn't even expect to win. The man of defeat, I didn't expect it to be easier with PSV. I did not expect it. I was happy with the draw today. As I said in the match build-up, I was going to be very happy with that draw today because they're a very good team. But obviously, the way we consider that those many chances, it's pretty much not good. We played like 8-9 games this month, so they're human. Stansler says, but Arteta should stop rotation. It's high time to use White center. KT should be moving forward, not converting to the midfield. Nketiah should be given little time. We need get organized. Via should wake up. Says Stansler. I mean, I disagree with most of that, Stansler. So you need to remember, I know most Arsenal fans did not want Nketiah to sign a new contract. That is true. I was before he had a good end to the season, I was one of those people. For sure, I'm not going to lie. Like, if you see the videos back in March and April, I was so happy to let Niles go. I was so happy to let Nketiah go. I would have been happy to let Nelson go. I had no problem with that. But he picked up the form at the end of the season. Doesn't necessarily mean he becomes Thierry Henry after that. No, it doesn't. No one is saying that. But he was given a new contract. That means Arteta believes in him, and he said it. I believe in Nketiah. Edu believes in Nketiah as well. So for this season, especially in the Europa League, I would have expected him to play all 6 games. So if you leave Nketiah on the bench again in the Europa League, you can't play Jesus in every single game. The game against Southampton, the way he was missing chances, I was a bit right that he looked very tired. So you have to take him out. The thing you can say is we definitely need a striker in January, yes. But as of now, you cannot play Jesus every single day. Jesus is still 1 yellow card away from being suspended in the league. So if he picks up that yellow card, who plays up front? Is going to be Edin Nketiah. So if he had Edin Nketiah on the bench for all the Europa League games and he comes on in that Premier League game and he's not played for 3 months, you don't really want that. And we literally do not have any other striker. You're going to have, if Nketiah and Jesus are both out, you're going to have to experiment something that you've not done before. You can't play Odegaard as a striker. You can play Martinelli as a striker, but Martinelli helps us so much on that left side. So if you put Martinelli as a striker, you take away all that ability of dribbling and creating chances from the left side. So in terms of Nketiah, don't agree with that. Tierney, yes, Stanislas, maybe Tierney does give us a lot going forward. So maybe in terms of inverted, maybe we need to change that maybe, but yes, he does play as an inverted fullback, which I do agree with. Vieira was probably our best player today, Stanislas. I know he did not blow our minds up in terms of creating chances and having shots, but from today, I'm pretty sure Fabio Vieira was our best player because he was playing on that right side, which is not really his position. But I think he was better than everyone else, if I'm not wrong. Lam says this game had no big impact, but let's work hard next game in the league. You're right, Lam, kind of, but I would have preferred us to just get that draw today and go into next week, not needing to do anything against Zurich, basically, because after PSV today, we have Nottingham Forest next. I think that is easier than next week. Next week, we have Chelsea away from home after that Zurich game. And now we have to go into the Zurich game needing to win, knowing we are playing Chelsea 3 days after that. Chelsea will be well rested. Chelsea have already gone through in their Champions League group. So next week, they can rest everyone. So when we are busy trying to go through against Zurich, Chelsea will be well rested. Lee says, bring on Forest. Dennis says, can we concentrate on EPL and there is need to back up our bench and back up our midfield? Yes, we can now concentrate on the Premier League, the 3 remaining games before the World Cup, but we cannot, we have to win our next Europa League game as well next week. If you finish second in your group, remember, you're going to face the teams that are coming out of the Champions League. Those teams are good. Barcelona is coming. Juventus is coming, Atletico Madrid is coming. Those teams that are coming to the Europa League are not easy. Sevilla as well, so it's not easy at all. So many mistakes on our defense, says Zimba. We really need to improve in terms of scoring. Stop putting these players down. Everyone of these players has done well this season. Tell me everyone expecting 12 games, only 2 lost. Says Lee. Lee has his own opinion. I'm not sad at all. I think we've done so well this season. I'm pretty happy with how the season gone even after today. But you have to point out the positives and you also have to point out the negatives. That is the point of having a match reaction and coming live and seeing what other fans have to say. Yes, we've done well, but also you cannot ignore the disappointing parts. Yes, I can tell you, I know about the positives, Lee. I know about the positives. Matt Turner kept 3 clean sheets in a row. That is a massive positive from the last 3 games. Jesus has like 5 goals and like 4 assists this season. If you look at that, that is great. If you look at Saka this season, magnificent. Martinelli, the season combined, magnificent. Jacques has been our best player this season. If you look at Odegaard in some games, especially away from home, he's been great, like against Bournemouth and against the game that he scored 2 goals. He was great against Tottenham. If you look at all that, they're definitely positives. But again, we cannot ignore the negatives. There are definitely negatives. We are missing so many chances. We've only scored 1, 2, 3. I think we've scored like 4 goals the last 5 games, which is not good enough to the way if you compare that from the beginning of this. I feel like we have good enough players to score more than that. And defensively as well, Lee, you cannot ignore the defense as well. We've been making a lot of mistakes, especially recently, especially even today. PSV scored 6 goals today. That is not good enough. Shamina says games you expect 2 portions, but I'll come to your comment, Shamina. But I do agree, Lee. I don't agree with anyone saying sell Nketiah now. Jesus is terrible. He's not good enough. I told you that. I don't agree with that. You'll never hear me saying that. Like Jesus, I told you, he's not a good striker. There's nothing like I'm not going to say that about any other player because they've already played well, as you said. So you expect a couple of times to be terrible, but when it's terrible as well, we have to talk about it. So I definitely do not agree with anyone saying, you see, Saliba was overhyped, blah, blah, blah. Ramsdale should not be England goalkeeper because of 1 mistake. I don't agree that. We expect to be winning and losing, but never give up, says Shamina. A says, I say this was going to happen no matter how bad or what the results. I had a feeling we wouldn't win. I just wanted us to avoid losing. I had the same feeling in the match build-up. I said I would take a draw 100%. I don't expect Arteta to use first team for this match, says Steven. I do agree. I do agree with part of it. There's someone who said that we should have rotated the entire team. That I don't agree with. We shouldn't have rotated the entire team. You saw how good PSV is. If you rotate the entire team, you're going to risk losing by 7 goals to 0. But I didn't have a problem, Steven, with some of the players playing, like Saliba, like Odegaard. I have no problem with mixing it up. We have players missing, says Lee. Isaac says gradually we're getting to default. This kind of play can never win the Premier League. I think we should target the top 4 for the league. 25% of under, 25% of 100. Now, again, Isaac, that is where we need to be realistic. So if right now as an Arsenal fan, you're disappointed very much that Arsenal is not going to win the Premier League and Man City are going to win the Premier League. Arsenal is not going to win the Premier League. Oh my goodness, I told you guys Arsenal is not going to win the Premier League. Look, we've lost to PSV. If you're that kind of fan, that is not right. Have you ever heard me saying Arsenal will win the Premier League? You've never heard me say that. I still feel like Man City will win the Premier League. If you feel like Arsenal is going to win the Premier League by October, you're getting a bit too ahead of yourselves because we know Man City have a squad to do that. Yes, we've done well. I told you guys I am happy. I want Arsenal to stay top of the table. Why? Because I want us to stay ahead of Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, all these teams as much as possible. I'm not looking at how good we are ahead of Man City. No, Man City is way too good in the Premier League. So there's no one really who said we're going to win the Premier League, guys. Like, you've never really heard me say that. So you cannot really be, I know some fans will be disappointed and start saying, Arsenal is not going to win the Premier League. I told you, look at how they've lost to PSV. Come on. You're going to, first of all, you're going to lose games. You're not going to win every single game. And that is why I told you, you cannot match up with Man City, because if you want to win the Premier League, you're going to have to win 15 games in a row. That is impossible. You're going to lose games somewhere. You're going to get suspension somewhere. So I think we should target the top four. That has always been our target, Isaac. We've started the season so well, so I'm still hoping we finish in the top three, because we've started the season very well. If we drop down to fourth or fifth, that means we are going to lose like 4 or 5 games in a row. That wouldn't be good. Ibrahim says you have to lose some matches at some point. True, but the most important thing is our response. Very good comment, Ibrahim. It's now how we are going to respond after this. We've not had good games the last four games. So how do we respond back from this? I want to see Jesus responding in the next game. I want to see him converting chances. I want to see how Nketiah does next time. Ramsdale, I want to see how he does next time. Fabio Vieira, I know some of you are not happy with how he's played, so I want to see how they bounce back. Kennedy says they still have some problems with the fielding of players and failure to utilize chances, wasting of opportunities. That is definitely a problem. Steven says, is there no player in place of Saka? This guy's getting tired. Saka didn't play today, though. He only came on for a few minutes. And the player who's supposed to play in his position, Marquinhos, is injured as well. So he got injured 2 days ago. He's ill. So he wasn't there today. So I have seen some comments, people saying, Pepe, this is why we shouldn't have let Pepe go. But you can't really say because we've lost to PSV, this is why Pepe needed to remain at Arsenal. Have we done better without Pepe than how we did with Pepe? Yes. That is the simple answer. We have done better with better than how we did with the likes of Lacazette and Pepe last season. So, one defeat. I don't like opinions of after one defeat, because I know people get carried away. I do not like seeing comments about Jesus. This is what I told you. Jesus is not a good striker. Come on, because he missed 3 chances against Southampton. People miss chances. You cannot expect everyone to score every single day and keep clean sheets every single day. But when they miss those chances and they make those mistakes, we are going to talk about it and see how they can be better in terms of that. A says, honestly, Nketiah is not the guy. Even Nelson is off the pace, but I'd rather keep him and see him get back to his old ways than Nketiah, because I really feel he just don't cut it. Don't know why he's the number 14. That was obviously always going to be a problem. Ali says we didn't need to put pressure on this game. And this match is not a must-win for Arsenal. That should have given some first-team players opportunity to rest, but he did, Stephen. He rested 7 players. 7, right? White was rested, Gabriel was rested, Saka was rested, Jesus was rested, Partey was rested. I mean, players were rested. We need another right back so he can rest players central midfield and stick striker. I mean, we have so many players who can play at right back. Cedric can play at right back, Tomiyasu, Ben White. My problem is not really right back. I don't really have a problem with right back. My problem 100% is midfield. I still don't think Lokonga is a defensive midfielder, and you put him there every single game, it's a problem. But now there's no other thing we can do, because you can't play Partey every single day with his injuries. Let's do the player ratings before I come to the rest of your comments. Player ratings time. I will start with Aaron Ramsdale. I have given Ramsdale a 6 out of 10. I wanted to give him a 5 because he made the mistake for the second goal. Very, very poor mistake. This was terrible. This was definitely terrible, especially from a corner. We really trust ourselves in saving corners or defending corners. We are pretty good at defending corners the last 2 years, so this is not great to see. But he still made 3 very good saves that should have been goals. He made one from, I think, was it Cody Gakpo and all that. I would understand if we gave him a 5, but I think 6 is fair enough for Ramsdale. He made the mistake and conceded 2 goals. That is why it has dropped all the way down to 6. Usually I give them 7s and 8s, but he did make the 3 good saves. So I won't really say that because he made that mistake, I'm going to give him a 3, give him a 6. If you're to ask me to drop it down to move it to a 6.5 or a 5.5, I wouldn't move it to a 6.5. I would move it to a 5.5. So hopefully that makes sense. In terms of his kicking as well today, 62%, but he did have a couple of weird kicks today. I expect better from him. So Ramsdale gets a 6 for today. Next up, Kieran Tierney. I have given him a 5 in this match. In terms of playing as an inverted, I don't think that is his problem. I mean, that is the instructions from the the manager. I do prefer him going forward for sure, as someone said early on in the comment section. He lost position 11 times. He had 88% in terms of accurate passes, though. But long balls, crosses, he didn't complete any of them at all. He also had 56 touches. He also made one tackle and one clearance. I'm going to give him a 5, not the best of games, really. So 5 out of 10. He also, there's a time he got left behind, and I was like, oh no, if Tien is left behind like this, then it's not going to be a good day, because I still believe in him as a very good player. So Tien 5. Saliba, I have to be fair as well. Saliba gets a 5 for today. Not good again. Not good at all. A couple of me. I expect better from him. Like he's put he set his standards so high since coming on. Like, I think he's one of the only players to get 10 out of 10 in a player ratings this season, when he did it against Crystal Palace in the beginning of the campaign. But recently, I don't know. He's been making a couple of mistakes. I'm a bit worried because against Leeds United, he made like 2-3 mistakes. Ben White and Ramsdale saved him. Last game against Southampton as well, him and Gabriel was better than him in that game as well. And today as well, I mean, we considered like 6-7 good chances today, which is not good enough. So I can't really give the defenders too high. So I'm going to give him a 5. If I take a look at his stats from today, William Saliba, clearances, tackles, all that. He only won 1 out of his 2 ground duels. He won 2 out of his 4 aerial duels, so 50%. He was dribbled past once, and if they were counting the goal as well, that would have been twice. He only made 1 clearance today. Passes never a problem for him. He always has like 90% in terms of accuracy. But in terms of just defending, I do expect more from him, so I can only give him a 5 out of 10. The guy next to him, Holding, he's played good. He played well against Bodo Glimt at home. He played okay against Zurich away from home. Against Bodo Glimt away from home, he wasn't great. And today again, not great at all. The way he was dribbled past for that goal that was disallowed. And the goal that they scored, the first goal that they scored, I think he was the one who was stunned. He was stunned so easily. Like, it is actually scary how easily he was stunned. So I can only give him a 4 out of 10 for today. I mean, we have to be fair. And he one of his not really mistakes, but one of his pieces of defending led to a goal. So I'm going to give Holding a 4 out of 10 for today. Next up, Tomiyasu, I'm going to have to give him a 5. We can't give them anything more than that. Although SofaScore have given them a 6 and a 7, I can't give Tomiyasu a 7 for today. No, we gave away so many chances. Yes, he won 2 out of 2 ground duels, 2 out of 4 aerial duels. I mean, he did keep Cody Gakpo when he was on the left side quite a bit. Cody Gakpo moved to the right side when he scored that disallowed goal. But in the second half as well, there's a chance Cody Gakpo had, and I think he went past Tomiyasu. So we can't really give him more than that. So 5 out of 10. Let me know if you disagree with some of them. Ramsdale 6 because he made 3 good saves, but he made a mistake. Tierney 5, Holding 4, Saliba 5, Tomiyasu 5. That is the defense. I might be wrong in some of them. I will watch the game for a second and third time. I don't know if I have the energy to watch the game for a second time, but yes, they are not great at all. The player ratings, first time you can get it wrong. There are a couple of things I might have missed. Midfield-wise, Granit Xhaka. I've given Granit Xhaka 6 for today. He did give away the ball a couple of times as well. I'm not going to ignore that. But even in the second half, the last 20 minutes, it was looking like if we were going to get a goal, it was going to come from him. He actually did create that chance for the one that Nketiah missed. But long balls, 1 out of 4 is a bit poor from him. Ground duels, he lost all of them. Like, he had 0% in terms of ground duels. That is not great. He also lost possession 13 times. Not great at all. So yeah, I think he's even lucky to get the 6 out of 10. He also committed a foul, and he also got a yellow card. A silly yellow card. That is needless. They're already 2 goals up. They've already won the game. I don't think there's any need of pushing Xavi Simons to go off quickly. So that was a needless yellow card, and that means he's suspended for next week. In terms of going forward, he still tried to get himself into the good positions going forward. So 6 out of 10. Xhaka gets more than this season. He usually gets like 8s and 9s. So 6 is a bit low for him this season. Albert Sambi Lokonga. I mean, I've seen a couple of comments, harsh comments on him. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch, but I've given him a 5 out of 10. I still don't think he's a defensive midfield. I still think he needs to. You see where Xhaka plays, that is where Lokonga should play, and then we should have another defensive midfielder playing in that role. But ground duels, 3 out of 5. Aerial duels, he won 1 out of 1. 3 out of 4 long passes, so not bad. So I even think he actually deserves a 6 out of 10. I know when he's not midfield, if you just look at him, you'll feel like he's not doing enough. But in terms of the game in general, I think he was not like off like some of the defenders today. But there's a reason why Atita wanted to bring on Partey as the first sub and take off Lokonga. So there's a reason for that. Lokonga 5 out of 10. Odegaard. What are you going to give Odegaard? I mean, he did create a couple of chances as well in the first half, and he also had the shots on target that he had like 2 of them. I've given him a 6. A 6 is not that great, by the way. I know some of you feel like 6 is too high, but 6 out of 10, 81% accurate passes. He had 1 key pass as well, I think, created a chance. He was fouled once. He lost position only 6 times. He made 1 tackle. I think 6 out of 10 is fair enough, but so I can't give him anything higher than that. But I expect more from Odegaard for sure. So 6 out of 10. Midfield, Lokonga 5, Xhaka 6, Odegaard 6. Forward line, Martinelli 5 out of 10. Very, very quiet. They also picked up a silly yellow card as well today. In terms of I need him to improve on Martinelli. Every single game, the last 5-6 games, the crosses. He actually has like 6-7 crosses every single game, and like 3 of them go out of like literally off target, like way off, way above the post, like way off target. Like he needs to improve on his crossing, because when he cuts onto his right foot, he has a good chance to cross the ball. But as you can see, even today from the start, let me see how many crosses he completed. He put in 4 crosses, and only 1 of them fell to an Arsenal player. So I need him to improve in terms of crosses. The crosses are not being good. And also corners. These days, the corners are not exciting me from Martinelli. So 5 out of 10 today. Not great. He's still a very good player, but we have to compliment them and also slightly judge them where they need to improve on. He's still a young player. I have no doubt that he's going to improve on all that, but the crossing is what I have a problem with Martinelli the most. I feel like the crosses are a bit way overhit most of the times, and a bit short sometimes as well. And it's every single game. If you take a look at his stats in terms of crosses, he only has like 20-30% every single game. And today's way lower than 25% today. So that is not too good. So Martinelli 5. Fabio Vieira was 6 out of 10. I think he was slightly better than everyone else from that right side. I still need to see more from him, because at the end of the day, people will point to the fact that he was bought for more than 40 million. 1 interception. He won all his ground duels, 2 out of 2. He also won all his aerial duels. Fabio Vieira is not the best of headers. He's not a guy who should depend on to head the ball, but he actually won 100% of the aerial duels he was involved in. That is good. 85% in terms of accurate passes. He also completed a dribble. So not bad. He was not as bad as most of our players today. So 6 out of 10. Edin Ketia can only give him 5 out of 10. So maybe I was being a bit harsh on Holding. Maybe you can upgrade that to a 5 out of 10. But then again, I will recap it. Ketia 5 out of 10. He had a chance in the second half, a bit of a half chance, but you can do it slightly better there, like hit it on either side of the goalkeeper, it's a goal. But then again, I expected to see more from him. Again, 80% accurate passes, only 1 out of 4 ground duels won, lost position 7 times. He committed 2 fouls. So a bit of a quiet day again from Ketia. Now I'm giving these guys 5 and 6s, but so far I've given them 6s and 7s, but I feel like that is a bit too high. So in terms of recap, Ramsdale 6, he made a mistake, but he still made 3 good saves. Tierney 5, Holding 4, you can upgrade it to a 5. Saliba 5, Tomiyasu 5. I would understand if you gave the defenders a bit lower than that. Lokonga 5, Xhaka 6, Odegaard 6, Fabio Vieira 6. I think he was slightly better than everyone else today. Nketiah 5, Martinelli 5. And then in terms of which players came from the bench, I can't even lie to you. How many times did I even see Pat in this game? I don't think a lot, but I don't think I saw Partey a lot today. So I'm going to give Partey a 5 when he came on as a sub out of 10. I'm going to give Saka was I did. Saka didn't even get a chance to dribble past players. He did not. So Saka just going to give him an average 5. Way too quiet when he came on. White and Gabriel came on as well. Actually, Gabriel, and he came on, he kind of quickened the pace from the back, surprisingly. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Did he concede while he was? No, he didn't concede while he was on the pitch, but they still got like a chance. Ben White, I'm going to give a 5. Who else came on? Gabriel Jesus also came on. I mean, he did. Jesus, I'm going to give him a 5, but he did create, like, he did have a shot on target or something. But 5 out of 10, we can't really give them anything higher than that. Mikel Arteta is an interesting one for today. What are we going to give Mikel Arteta for today? Some of you were not happy with the squad. Some of you wanted more first team players. Some of you didn't want any first team players. Apart from that, substitutions, subs, I don't think there's a problem with when he made the sub. I mean, he was about to bring on Thomas Partey when he conceded the goal, so you can't really judge him for that. Chances, we created chances. We had more shots than PSV today. We had more shots than PSV today, but defensively was shocking. Defensively was absolutely shocking, and we ended up losing the game 2-0. So I'm just going to give him a 5 out of 10. There's positives, but more negatives. I think this is the lowest I've given him this season. I think I actually gave him high in the Man United game because we were very good in that game, although we lost. So 5 out of 10. I was happy with the lineup personally. I don't have a problem with the lineup, mixing it up, youngsters and first team players. I didn't have, not even youngsters, you can't really call them youngsters, just the second team players, Holding and those guys. We created chances. We should have scored. We had 18 shots today. I don't think it's his problem that players had it off target, shot those balls off target. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot to say. We need to get the job done next week. 5 out of 10 for Mikel Arteta. Those are my player ratings. Man of the match. Does anyone deserve man of the match? If you are going to have to give someone man of the match, it probably would be Fabio Vieira. And even himself, he wasn't that great today. But I think he was better than everyone else. So that is the player ratings. Thank you for the super chat, RK. She says Gillen. She's given me a new name. She says Gillen. This is for the good work and always keeping us informed. I appreciate it. I wish we would have won today. It would have been way better. But thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let me see how many of you guys are disagreeing, because I know a lot of you disagree. Let's see. Steven says this was not a must win for Arsenal, but it was kind of a must not lose. Arsenal should have given some first team players opportunity to rest. I see what you're saying, Steven, but still, do you really want to rest everyone and then lose 6-0? That's the thing. Do you want to rest everyone and lose 6-0? We need I read that one already. Let's see. Bradley says we need someone stronger who can replace Thomas Partey, Thomas number. Thomas lose. We have to fix that. But I'm proud of the boys. They really played. Who played well? I hope that is a joke. I hope that is a joke. The boys played well. Arsenal, unless you're a PSV fan, they didn't play well. Especially defensively, they didn't play well. Feeling sad, but I know we'll do better, says RK. William says losing a game can't stop us top of the league. I'm proud of Arsenal players this season, but problem is one player team instead of 2 or 3 like Man City. We need 4 players at least in January. But the problem is a one player team. No, we are not a one player team, but we are a first 11 team. Our first 11 is very good. Our first 11 can compete with anyone. But the moment you take away like 4 or 5 players, that's a problem. David says, Glenn, let's be truthful. We have been on a downward trend for a while now. We need to wake up or Nottingham will beat us at home. We've definitely not played well the last 4 games, I agree. But if you look at Leeds United first half, we are good. Second half, terrible. Southampton second half, not good. Bodo Glimt last week, not good. And today, not good. So you are right. Timothy says, Zinchenko has carried away our winning. Since Zinchenko went out, we've been losing games. I don't think so, Timothy. You know, if you look at the overall picture, this is the first time we've lost in 11 games as well. Remember that. We've played, how many games have we played this season? Is it 16? We've played 16 games this season. We've lost 2, we've drawn 1, and we've won 13. So that is still not a bad record. We've won 13 out of the 16 games. So we've still done better than we expected this season. So I know since we've been doing so well that the the expectations have gone up and you're expecting to win every single game. But then again, you can't win every single game. But it was a day to forget. There's one more thing I wanted to take a look at. I wanted to take a look at the table. I don't know what the result was for Zurich today. Was it Zurich? Did they beat Bodo Glimt? I think they beat Bodo Glimt. That's interesting. So PSV have gone through with us. Let me do this. Let me remove this. Let's take a look at it. Let's see how the table is looking like right now. So some of you are still not that sad, but some of you are not happy as well. But let's check the table. Definitely need to beat Nottingham Forest over the weekend, David. I do expect us to win that game. They're not. We cannot underestimate any Premier League team. I mean, the last couple of seasons in the FA Cup, they've eliminated us. So in terms of the table, we are still top of the group, yes. But PSV have gotten closer to us. We now have 12 points. They now have 10 points. And then Bodo Glimt and Zurich are out. Bodo Glimt, Zurich will be fighting for that place. Now, the other problem is now that Zurich have won that game, they still have a chance of going to the Conference League. So next week, they will be trying to beat us as well. But as you can see, they've conceded 15 goals this season. We should be beating them next week. Goal difference is also a problem. I think they look at head-to-head first. And PSV have a better head-to-head against us now. So if we draw next week and PSV win, PSV finish top of the group. We have to beat Zurich next week. So there is a bit of pressure there. We have to beat Zurich next week. But we are still top. So let's see what happens. Nottingham Forest this week, that is a big game. The pressure will be on us because Man City play fast this weekend. If Man City win their game against Leicester, they are above us for a day. So let's see what happens. Listen, it's not the end of the world, but you lost the game. As some of you have been saying, like David in the chat, it has been coming. We've not played well the last four games. We've only been scoring 1-0, 1-0, 1-0, and 1-1. So it has been coming. But it's not the end of the world. We're not out of the Europa League or something like that, or PSV are not past us yet. We still have a chance next week to finish top of the group. If you win the game against Nottingham Forest and you beat Zurich next week and you have a positive result against Chelsea, we are going to forget the PSV game. If you go through, the PSV game won't matter if you beat Zurich next week. So let's see how that one goes. But either way, it was a day to forget. 2-0 defeat to PSV, not the best of games. They had 3 goals disallowed, could have been 5-0. But yeah, let me know. Keep the conversation going. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't yet, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.